You caught me looking at the calendar. Today is February 6th, the first Saturday in February. And did you know that today is ice cream for breakfast day? I love ice cream. Do you love ice cream? Well, let's get some ice cream. Oh no, there's no ice cream in our freezer. How can we have ice cream for breakfast if there's no ice cream? I know what we can do. We can make our own ice cream. Would you like to do that? All right, stay tuned and I'll get everything that we need, okay? So let's see what we need to make some ice cream. First thing you're going to need is some half and half. You're going to need a cup of that, but we'll go over the amounts later. You're going to need some sugar. You're going to need vanilla. And because I want to make chocolate ice cream, I'm going to use some chocolate syrup. We're also going to need some salt. You can probably use any kind of salt, but the coarser the salt, the better it is, and the faster your ice cream will become ice cream. So I'm using some coarse kosher salt, and I've got some out over here. I'm just going to show you that it's much, much coarser than what you would use on your table. You're also going to need some bags. You're going to need a 1-gallon bag with a good zipper on the top, and either a pint or a quart bag also that will seal well. And the last thing you're going to need is some ice. I don't have that here, but that's fine. So shall we get started? Okay. The first thing you're going to want to do is measure out 1 cup of our half and half. And I put it in a larger measuring cup because I'm going to add the other ingredients to it and mix them together before I pour them into the bag. So you need a cup of the half and half. You're going to need 2 tablespoons of sugar. I forgot to mention you need some measuring spoons. So I've already measured 2 cups here and I'm just going to pour that right in. You're going to need 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. And I'm going to bring my little bowl back here just for a second because I don't like to measure over what I'm mixing. I'd rather measure to the side, so if I do too much, it doesn't go in what I'm creating. So I'm going to measure 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. And you see it did overflow a little bit, and I'll just add that in there. And then, as I said, because I want it to be chocolate ice cream, I'm going to use some chocolate syrup. Let's get it open here. And I'm going to do about 1.5 tablespoons. So measure it up and pour it in. And then a little bit, about halfway full, and pour that in. If you don't have a spatula around like I don't, I'm just going to use that teaspoon, that 1/2 teaspoon that I had, to clear it out. So that's your base. Then take a spoon and just stir it until it's mixed. Then you're going to want to get your smaller of the bags and open it up. And you're going to pour your mixture in there. If someone is helping you, you might have them hold the bag. I'm just going to be brave and pour it in myself. And then I'm going to, very carefully, leaving the bag on the counter, I'm going to fold over the top so that I'm getting as much air out of the bag as possible, and then I'm going to seal it, pressing it across and making sure that I hear it click as I go. Did you hear that? Then you can set that aside. Then you're going to want to get your bigger bag, and you're going to want to fill it about halfway with ice. And I happen to have that just set aside here. So I have it, some ice filling the bottom. Then I measured out 1/2 cup of the coarse salt, and I'm just going to pour that in on top of the ice cubes. I'm going to put my ice cream mixture inside that bag with the ice. And then I'm just going to add a handful or two more of ice to kind of sandwich it in there. And then you're going to want to do the same thing that we did before with the other bag. You're going to want to fold over the top to get as much air out of the bag and zip it up. This one has an actual zipper on it, otherwise you'd press across hearing that click. And then we're going to start shaking. Now, I should mention why we wanted to make sure there was no air in there. You don't want your inside bag with the ice cream mixture to be like a balloon, because it'll pop when you start having the ice cubes hit it. You want to have it be just filled with the mixture and not air. So then you're going to start shaking, and this may sound a little bit silly, but I recommend putting on your gloves or your mittens or using an oven mitt, because this bag is going to be cold. And you're going to be shaking it for about 5 to 8 minutes. All right, let's get shaking. We're doing this because it is ice cream for breakfast day. Did you know that ice cream for breakfast started in the 1960s when Florence Rappaport from Rochester, New York, decided to start the tradition on a snowy winter's day for her 6 children. Should we see if it's ready? So I'm going to reach in. Well, I think it needs a little bit more. So I'm going to put it back in, bury it in that ice, and shake a little bit more. Take a look inside, pull it out. Now your bag is going to be full of ice cubes, melted ice, and salt. So you're going to want to either wipe off the top of your bag or run it under cold water before you open it up, unless you like salted chocolate ice cream. So let's open it up. See what we've got. Double seal. And there's our ice cream. Should I taste it? I think so. Pretty good. I better have some more. So, that's how you make ice cream at home. I hope you will, and enjoy ice cream for breakfast today. Hello, welcome to Take the Library to Your Child Day at Wood Library. I'm Mrs. Ferris, and we're having a very special story time today. Now today is also known as Ice Cream for Breakfast Day. So, well, I figured we ought to have a story time program all about ice cream. What do you think? Are you hungry? Are you hungry for a story? Well, then let's get started. Our first book is called Groovy Joe, Ice Cream and Dinosaurs. It's written by Eric Litwin with pictures by Tom Lichtenheld. Now, Eric Litwin you might know as one of the creators of the Pete the Cat books. And I think Pete and Groovy Joe would get along really well. This is published by Orchard Books. Groovy Joe saw something yummy. Groovy Joe started rubbing his tummy. Groovy Joe was living the dream. He had a spoon and a tub of ice cream. And he started to sing. I love my doggy ice cream. I love my doggy ice cream. Roar! Oh no! A little dinosaur stomped into the room. He glared at the ice cream and took out a spoon. He put on a bib. He pulled up a chair. And what did Joe say? It's awesome to share. And everyone sang, I love my doggy ice cream. I love my doggy ice cream. Roar! Oh no! A big dinosaur burst into the room and he glared at the ice cream and he took out a spoon. He put on a bib. He pulled up a chair. And what did Joe say? It's awesome to share. And everyone sang, love my doggy ice cream. I love my doggy ice cream. Roar! Oh no! A huge dinosaur smashed into the room. She glared at the ice cream and she took out a spoon. She put on a bib. She pulled up a chair. And what did Joe say? It's awesome to share. And everyone sang. Can you sing along this time? I love my doggy ice cream. I love my doggy ice cream. You knew this was coming, didn't you? Roar! Oh no! The tub was empty. The ice cream was through. So the dinosaurs glared at you know who. What can Joe do? Well, he turned over the tub and made it a drum. And Groovy Joe beat out a rum-a-tum-tum-tum. Used a spoon for a drumstick. And the dinosaurs laughed. They rose from their chairs. They started to dance. They jumped in the air. And then, what did they say? It's awesome to share. And everyone sang together, so join on in. Love my doggy ice cream. I love my doggy ice cream. Let's do a finger play about ice cream. Can you put up your 5 fingers and pretend each one is an ice cream cone? 5 ice cream cones in the ice cream store. A boy bought a chocolate one. And then there were 4. 4 ice cream cones as delicious as can be. A girl bought a vanilla one. And then there were 3. 3 ice cream cones, none the color blue. A boy bought a peppermint one. And then there were 2. 2 ice cream cones dripping in the sun. A girl bought a strawberry one, and that left just 1. 1 ice cream cone in a sugar cone. A boy bought this last one, and then there were none. Didn't even save any for us. Well, we're going to have a story now about probably 2 of your favorite characters. They're 2 of mine, and we know them as Elephant and Piggy. And since there was so much sharing going on in that last story, I thought this would be a good follow-up. It's called, Should I Share My Ice Cream? It's written and illustrated by Willems, and it's published by Hyperion Books. Ice cream! Get your cold ice cream for a hot day. Oh boy, ice cream! 1 ice cream, please. Here you go. Oh boy, I love ice cream. Wait. Piggy Piggy loves ice cream too. And Piggy is my best friend. Should I share my ice cream with her? Should I share my awesome, yummy, sweet, super great, tasty, nice, cool ice cream? Maybe Piggy does not like this flavor. Sharing a flavor Piggy does not like would be wrong. I will eat the ice cream. Wait. Piggy will like this flavor. It is very yummy. I will share my ice cream. It will not be easy. Hey! Piggy is not here. She does not know I have ice cream. I will eat the ice cream. But where is Piggy? What if she is sad somewhere? I must find her. And when I do, I will say, "Would you like some of my ice cream?" And then she will say, "Oh, thank you. That would cheer me up." And then I will give her my ice cream to share. And then my best friend will be happy. I will do it. I will share my ice cream. No! Now Piggy cannot have any of my ice cream. Now I cannot have any of my ice cream. I blew it. Do you see who's coming? Do you see what Piggy has? You look sad. Would you like some of my ice cream? Thank you. That would cheer me up. That was not my plan. Oh well. This works too. So I guess he'd found out. It is a good idea to share. So when the question is asked, should I share my ice cream? The answer is yes. Right. Well, should we do a finger play that has absolutely nothing to do with ice cream, but has something to do with something else you might eat? How about if we get our hot dogs ready? I've got 5 little hot dogs that are cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and one went bam. So 4 little hot dogs are cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and one went bam. 3 little hot dogs are cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and one went bam. 2 little hot dogs are cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and one went bam. One little hot dog is cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and the one went bam. So no little hot dogs are cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and the pan went bam. I think hot dogs go very nicely with ice cream. Don't you? Well, our next book is kind of a silly one. It's called Chilly Millie Moo, and it's by Fiona Ross. And it's published by Candlewick Press. It almost looks like pigeon, doesn't it? Millie Moo the cow was sad. "What's up?" roared the other cows. "I'm too hot." Millie Moo the cow was glum. That means sad. "What's up?" asked the farmer. "It's too hot for me to make milk." Millie Moo wanted to churn out the finest, loveliest, tastiest, creamiest milk, but she couldn't. "You can't stay here if you can't make milk," said the farmer. "Oh, what a poor cow. We make lots of milk," boasted the others. That wasn't very nice. Millie Moo sat with the other cows. "The sun helps me make milk. And me. And me." Poor Millie. The next morning, when the farmer collected milk, nope, zilch, nada, diddly squat from Millie. The other cows snickered. They couldn't understand why Millie Moo was different. That night, Millie Moo dreamed about what might happen to her. Where did cows that couldn't make milk go? Are they sent to a desert island? She woke to find that a storm was raging, and it was getting colder. The following morning, it was freezing cold. Brrr! "Did you get much sleep?" "Oh no, it's so cold." The cows were moaning and groaning, except for Millie. Millie Moo? She said, "It's perfect." The farmer came to collect the milk. "This is your last chance, Millie Moo," he said. So the farmer squeezed and squeezed and squeezed, and strange noises erupted from Millie Moo. "Let's have one last try," he said. Gurgle, gargle, bubble, babble. "Blimey!" said the farmer, and there was an explosion of the coldest, chilliest, frostiest, iciest ice cream. "I never thought a cow could do that," said the farmer. Well, the other cows wished that they could be like Millie Moo. "We can't make ice cream." "Oh, don't be misery moo," said Millie Moo. "We're all special," said Millie Moo. "It's just that I like being chilly. Let's go and enjoy the big freeze." And they did. Look at the farmer there with his big ice cream cone. Well, shall we get a little bit silly? Millie Moo is a cow. Can you make your 5 fingers be cows and we'll have them jump on our beds? There were 5 silly cows who were jumping on the bed. When one fell off, well, he bumped his head. His mama called the doctor. The doctor said, No more silly cows jumping on the bed. So 4 silly cows were jumping on the bed. One fell off and bumped his head. So Mama called the doctor, and the doctor said, no more silly cows jumping on the bed. So 3 silly cows were jumping on the bed. One fell off and bumped his head. So Mama called the doctor, and the doctor said, no more silly cows jumping on the bed. So that means 2 silly cows were jumping on the bed. One fell off and bumped his head. So Mama called the doctor, and the doctor said, no more silly cows jumping on the bed. So that leaves 1 silly cow who was jumping on the bed. When she fell off, oh, she bumped her head. But Mama called the doctor, and the doctor said, no more silly cows jumping on the bed. Because do you know what happens when cows jump on the bed? They make butter. Which story should I go with now? I think we'll have an old friend again. This is Curious George Goes to an Ice Cream Shop. Oh, I see him with a big sundae. This is from the books written by Margaret and illustrated for the films by Alan Shalleck, and it's published by Houghton, Mifflin Company in Boston. George and his friend, the man with the big yellow hat, well, they were cleaning their house. We've worked hard today, said the man. Let's treat ourselves to some ice cream. Look, George, there's a new ice cream place in town, said the man with the yellow hat. Let's give it a try. We've come to try your ice cream, said the man to the owner. Oh, I'm glad someone has, said Mr. Herb. Come on in. I just opened the place and no one knows I'm here yet. Well, I'll have a strawberry cone, said the man with the yellow hat. Mr. Herb dipped out a scoop of strawberry. Now George was curious. Could he scoop ice cream too? I have some errands to do, George, said the man. You stay here until I come back. You can have some ice cream, but don't get into trouble. Take your time deciding, George, said Mr. Herb. I'll start a special order that I have to fill. Well, George couldn't make up his mind. Oh, there were so many flavors to choose from. Mr. Herb was busy filling a bowl with ice cream. This is my first big order. It's for a party and it has to be just right. Well, just then the phone rang. Oh, it might be another order, said Mr. Herb, and he went to answer it. Well, the next thing you know, George had climbed onto the counter and picked up the scoop. He dipped into the banana ice cream and put it in the bowl. Then he dug into the strawberry and the nutty walnut and the raspberry and the chocolate. And soon there was a mountain of ice cream in the bowl, and George was just about to put vanilla on top of peppermint when... George! Mr. Herb yelled. That's not what my customers ordered. Oh, now I have to start all over again, he said. Get away from here. Mr. Herb was angry. And George was scared. He ran over to the other counter that was in front of the window. There were jars of cherries and nuts and coconut and whipped cream and all kinds of sauces, and there was even a bowl of bananas. George loves bananas, you know. So George put some bananas in a dish, and then he added raspberries and chocolate chip and lots of whipped cream. George was getting hungry. Suddenly, there was a tapping on the window. George turned around, and outside there was a crowd watching him. Add some nuts, George, called a boy. Try the sprinkles, said the girl. Don't forget the cherry on top, said the man. Oh, How could George forget the cherry? Well, just as George was about to taste his masterpiece, Mr. Herb came over and he was still angry. But before Mr. Herb could scold George, the crowd rushed in. "I'll have a raspberry sundae," said the man. "I'll have a banana split," said another. Well, Mr. Herb could hardly keep up. The orders just kept pouring in. And finally, everyone was served. "Thanks for all those customers, George," said Mr. Herb. "You messed up my big order, but you sure made up for it." Just then, the man with the yellow hat came back. "Have you finally decided what flavor you want, George?" "He sure did," said Mr. Herb. "A little of everything." That looks very tasty. What is your favorite flavor of ice cream? How many of you like vanilla? Because you can do anything with vanilla. How many of you like chocolate or strawberry? Or maybe mint chocolate chip? Lots of different flavors to choose from. I think mine is, it's a tie between cookies and cream and butter crunch. I'll take either one of those. But I have to let you know, Gorilla loves vanilla. This is a story by Chae, Strathie, with pictures by Nicola O'Byrne, and it is published by Barron's. Look at that big gorilla. Now, if you take a walk down Jelly Bean Street, there's a wonderful place you can go for a treat. A fabulous store full of yummy ice cream, the kind of ice cream that makes everyone beam. That means smile, a big smile. Can you smile? Yeah. Now, Little Sam Sundae is known as the king of cones and wafers and flavors that zing. And one sunny day, as Sam opened the store, 5 hungry animals, we can't forget the mouse here, dashed in through the door. First in line was the mouse, who squeaked, "Please, may I have a sundae that tastes of blue cheese?" Now that might sound scrumptious to a little gray mice, but none of those others thought cheese ice was nice. It sounded quite, well, stinky. But Sam didn't blink. He rustled up cheesy ice cream in a wink. Next to step up was a sea captain's cat with whiskery cheeks and a white sailor's hat. "My favorite," he said, "is a sailing cat's wish. Bring me fish finger ice cream in a dish." Well, it sounded quite yucky, but Sam didn't blink. He rustled up fishy ice cream in a wink. The chicken said, "I'll have a cone full of worms. I like nothing more than an ice cream that squirms. It's funny that way that it wriggles and jiggles. It tickles my beak and it gives me the giggles." It sounded too squirmy, but Sam didn't blink. He rustled up wormy ice cream in a wink. The flavor the cow chose was daisies and grass, sprinkled with dandelions in a tall glass. "It's simply amoozing," she gleefully cheered, but all of her friends thought her flavor was weird. It sounded revolting, but Sam didn't blink. He rustled up daisy ice cream in a wink. The hippo stomped up with a thump and a thud and asked for a cone that was filled with mountains of mud. "I don't want to eat it," he said with a laugh. "I'm going to jump in and have a nice bath." It sounded quite messy, but Sam didn't blink. He rustled up muddy ice cream in a wink. The animals sang, "Little Sam, you're the best. You've managed to rustle up every request." Then came a voice calling, "Oh, what about mine?" A gorilla was there at the end of the line. "I don't want fish fingers or worms as a filler. Just give me a cone full of good old vanilla." The others agreed that they'd all been too hasty. None of their flavors seemed nearly as tasty. Sam served up a cone that was everyone's dream. Scoop after scoop of amazing ice cream. He topped it with sprinkles and milk chocolate chips and the sticky fudge sauce that made them all lick their lips. The animals gasped. They couldn't help staring. And lucky for them, we're going back to a theme we've had. Gorilla loves sharing. Now that's a lot of ice cream. Just think, if you were there, you could have some too. Well, can you wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes? Wiggle your shoulders and how about your nose? Can you wiggle your elbows and slap your knee and stretch your arms out? And get ready, please, for something on the flannel board. Let's see here what we need. I think we need a cone, because you can't have ice cream without a cone. And I may have to put this up just a little bit higher, because this is a tall story. A bit of a tall tale, too. We have ice cream, the best in town. So let's start off with a chocolate brown. Now let us scoop up some bubblegum pink. It's sweet and yummy, the best, some think. And here is the ice cream that's minty and green. It's the creamiest I've ever seen. Yellow ice cream is lemony and tart. We like its taste right from the start. Scoops of blueberry would make my day. Look at all this ice cream. Hip, hip, hooray. Red ice cream is strawberry delight. All of these scoops are a heavenly sight. Vanilla white is popular. It's a popular flavor. It tastes very good to an ice cream craver. And orange ice cream really gives me a kick. Good and yummy to the very last lick. Ice cream, what a cool sensation. We love ice cream in any combination. Should we count and see how many scoops that was? Start at the top with the orange. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a big ice cream cone, but I bet it was delicious. Well, those are our ice cream stories today. I hope sometime today you get to have some ice cream, whether you've made it yourself or you've bought it, but it's the best way to celebrate ice cream for breakfast, whether you have it for breakfast, lunch, dinner, or just a snack. So thanks for joining us, and we'll be back with another story time sometime soon. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy your ice cream. What do you like to do for fun in the winter? Do you like to go outside and have a snowball fight? I do too, but sometimes the weather isn't very agreeable. It may be too cold, or the snow may not be right, or maybe we've even had a thaw. But you can still have a snowball fight indoors. And I'm going to show you how to make some indoor snowballs. So stay tuned, and I'll be right back. To make your snowballs that look like this, you're going to reach in your bag and find 2 clumps of yarn. There's about 12 yards in each of the clump, so you're going to make 2 snowballs. Also in your bag, you'll find a template for rolling your yarn. And on the back of your template, you'll find 2 pieces of string or yarn that are about, maybe 7 or 8 inches long that you're going to use to tie off your snowball. So the first thing you're going to want to do is find an end. Then hold it right down, and you're going to do all of your rolling right around the open end. So I'm going to just start having this go around and around and around. And after you've done it a couple times, you can let go of that loose string. But just keep rolling. Make sure as you're rolling that you can still see that opening. Okay, so I've rolled the entire piece of yarn around my template. I've made sure to keep that little opening so I can see it. Then I'm going to take the string, stick it through on that side, pull it around, and then I'm just going to tie it. Because we're making pom-poms. You're going to tie it. If you want, you can have somebody put their finger there and tie another knot in so that it's nice and tight. And I even tucked mine back around through and tied it once on the other side, just to make sure that it was nice and tight. There we go. And then you're going to want to cut it off of your cardboard template. You can either do it while it's on the template or you can take it off. I kind of like to start with it on the template. Cut right along the top there. And when it gets a little hard to cut because it's tight on there, then you can gradually ease it off of your template. You want to do it gradually because you're going to need this again to make the second snowball. There we go. And then I can just keep cutting all of those loops open. Okay, and when you have them all cut on one side, flip it over and do the same on the other side. And then you're just going to want to fluff it up a little bit. Some of them may look a lot longer than others because they were on the outside, so those strands on the outside as you wrapped were a bit longer, so you can trim those so that it gets more even around. Make sure you don't make a mess for Mom or Dad though. Put those cut off, snipped ends into the trash so that they're not going to be trimming. Another piece that you'll be trimming off is the tie that you had or the loose ends when you first started wrapping. But then just fluffer it up. And there's your snowball. So go on outside, have a real snowball fight, or stay inside and have some fun with your indoor snowballs.